ukistaafu enda nyumbani upate mali ya kuishi kukula huko. Wewe unagaidi ile amri ulitoa mwenyewe, ukatia sahihi, unaingia kwa siasa. Tunaambia yule ambaye alitoka kama rais akae nyumbani akule mali yake.
He built him. He campaigned for him across this country. He handed him the presidency on a political silver platter. And now, the same man is being told to sit down, stay quiet, and disappear. Uhuru Kenyatta is a private citizen. He holds no government office. And yet, in a single weekend, some of the most powerful figures in Kenya's ruling establishment came out swinging, not against a rival politician, not against an opposition leader, but against a retired president who made a phone call. That should tell you something. And today, we find out what exactly. Here is the sequence of events as we know for now. Uhuru Kenyatta called into a Thanksgiving ceremony in Narok, a phone address, not a rally, not a press conference. During that call, he pushed back against criticism that he should stay out of politics because he is retired. He defended his right to speak. He defended his party, Jubilee. There is concerns about government interfering in opposition politics. That was the spark. What follows was a coordinated and remarkably aggressive response from the Kenya Kwanza side. The Speaker of the National Assembly, the majority leader of the Senate, and a number of cabinet secretaries all publicly attacked Uhuru Kenyatta within the same news circle. They accuse him of financing opposition movement, specifically the Linda Mwananchi movement, of inciting unrest and of working to destabilize the Ruto administration. No evidence was produced to support any of these claims, but the accusations were made loudly, publicly, and in unison. When three senior government officials attack the same private citizen in the same weekend, that is not a coincidence. That is a message. The interesting story here is not what Uhuru said. It is the scale of the reaction to it. Government that feels secure do not mobilize their top brass to silence a retired man making phone calls. The ferocity of this response tells us that Kenya Kwanza sees Uhuru as a genuine threat, not raise the question of why. Part of the answer lies in the Linda Mwananchi movement. This is a growing opposition allied formation that has been intensifying its criticism of the Ruto's administration. The government's claim that Uhuru is bankrolling this movement, again unverified, is significant because it shows where the anxiety is focused. They're not just worried about Uhuru as an individual. They are worried about what he represents. A well-resourced politician, experienced figure who could give the opposition real structural backing. The other part of the answer is geography. And that brings us to the most important piece of this story. To understand the stake, you have to understand the arithmetics of the Kenyan presidential elections. Ruto won in 2022 on the back of two primary support bases: the Rift Valley, which is his home turf, and the Mount Kenya, which Uhuru comes from. Despite fiery internal resistance from the region, William Ruto won from Mount Kenya. And without Mount Kenya, Ruto's path to a second term in 2027 becomes extremely narrow, and the Mount Kenya is now in play. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, removed from office, politically bruised and clearly motivated, is actively working to consolidate the region's vote against Ruto. Meanwhile, Uhuru has been re-emerging in public spaces. His attendance at the funeral of former Kirinyaga senator was widely noted, widely photographed, and widely interpreted as a political signal. Kenya Kwanza's response has been to frame Uhuru's activities as tribal mobilization, a phrase with serious negative weight in Kenyan political discourse. The framing is deliberate. It is designed to delegitimize his outreach as ethnic maneuvering rather than a legitimate political activity. But here is the irony. If a potential Uhuru Kenyatta and Rigathi Gachagua alignment in Mount Kenya is enough to panic the ruling party at this stage, that tells you exactly how precocious Ruto's 2027 position really is. Let's set the partisan politics aside for a moment and ask a more fundamental question. What does it mean when a sitting government, most senior officials, use their platform to publicly pressure a private citizens into silence? Uhuru Kenyatta holds no state power. He controls no army, no budget, no ministry. He is a citizen, a wealth and influential one, yes, but a citizen. Under Kenya's constitution, he has the right to speak, to associate, and to participate in political life. The counter argument from the Kenya Kwanza is that he is not an ordinary citizen, that his resources and networks make him a uniquely destabilizing force. That is a legitimate concern to raise, but the appropriate response to political speech is more speech, not a coordinated government campaigning to share or to shame someone into silence. There is also a broader signal sent here, not just to Uhuru, but to every Kenyan watching. When the machineries of government turns this aggressively on a critic, it tells ordinary citizens something about the cost of dissent. That is worth paying attention to, regardless of how you feel about Uhuru Kenyatta. As we move deeper into the pre-election period, here are three things that will tell us where this is heading. First, whether Uhuru Kenyatta moves from informal politics, signaling to a formal alliance with Gachagua or the broader opposition. Right now, he is testing the waters. A structured coalition would fundamentally change the 2027 landscape. Secondly, whether Kenya Kwanza escalates from a rhetoric to legal or institutional pressure against Uhuru Kenyatta. If accusation of financing opposition movement become investigation or prosecution, this story transforms from a political drama into a constitutional crisis. Third, how Mount Kenya votes in the upcoming by-election in Olkalau. That will be the clearest earlier read on whether Ruto's grip on the region is holding or slipping. Kenya's 2027 campaign has effectively already begun, and the opening move wasn't made at a rally or in parliament. It was made in a phone call by former president and in the panicked response that followed.